Countdown. Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I'm your host, Willie Bragg, and I decided to make another video tonight. And, maybe it might be perceived as old news, but I haven't had a chance to comment. I commented on it on Twitter and, talked with it of this issue with a few people, but I haven't done it in form of a video. So I feel like it's only fair that I do a video commentary on this because this is something I don't want to miss out on. So, and this goes back to, I guess it was apparently last Tuesday night, Tulsi Gabbard, former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard was substituting for Tucker Carlson. And she had Congressman-elect George Santos elect on her show to talk about his record of embellishing his life story, his resume of who he is, basically getting elected under false pretenses. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to play you that segment, and then I'm going to go and comment on it. And actually, I may actually comment in between too. So hold on 1 minute, and I'll play you that segment. We will get everything ready momentarily. All right. I'm my own producer here, as you can see. So just give me 2 seconds here. Let me get everything set up. All right. And we shall get started. And okay, let's get started.
A permanent Washington has created a culture where it's acceptable to lie to further your own interests. Just try not to get caught. I should know. I served in Congress for 8 years. But even when these politicians do get caught, people just shrug their shoulders and move on. No big deal.
Yeah, when you were in Congress, you were a much better politician than you became since you left Congress, Tulsi. I would have to say that I've been more unimpressed as an ex-member of Congress than you were while you were a member of Congress. But I will let you go on.
No consequences. A few examples. Dick Blumenthal lied about his military service. And of course, Elizabeth Warren. She lied about having Native American heritage.
Yeah, you're right about that. She's not one bit Native American. She's a snake. And I think the snakes should run for office. And since Elizabeth Warren is a reptile and acted like a reptile in the primaries in Massachusetts that hurt Bernie Sanders, I would never support any reptile running for office. That means that Elizabeth Warren would never ever get any support from me ever in any capacity again. Never.
So no one should be surprised the American people don't trust these politicians. They've got no faith that those in Washington are actually working for the people when they're so clearly working for themselves. Now, there are new accusations that George Santos, who was just elected to represent New York in Congress in this past election, has actually been lying extensively about his own past. Now, he admits to some of these deceptions. For example, Santos acknowledges that he, quote, embellished his resume by saying that he graduated from Baruch College, but he didn't.
Yeah, no. He hasn't graduated from any college, for what I can gather.
Santos has also admitted he never actually worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, even though his website suggested that he did.
Just like the filthy capitalist he is.
Additionally, Santos once called himself a proud Jew. But in an interview with the New York Post, Santos now says, quote, "I am Catholic. Because I learned my maternal family had a Jewish background, I said I was Jew-ish."
That's really insulting to the Jewish community to use that kind of language. Really, honestly, shame on George Santos. It's a very condescending language.
There are other accusations, but now we have the opportunity to hear directly from George Santos himself. This is his very first TV interview since these accusations surfaced. George Santos joins us now.
Oh, brother.
Congressman-elect Santos, thank you for joining us today. First question I really want to ask you, now that all this has been revealed, is what does the word integrity mean to you?
Well, Tulsi, thank you for having me. To answer your question, integrity is very important. And like I said to the New York Post, embellishing
what does it mean, though? What does it mean? Because the meaning of the word actually matters in practice.
Oh, my God. She's sounding bass. She's sounding bass. And he reminds me of Marco, like a poor man's Marco Rubio.
Of course, it means to carry yourself in an honorable way. And I made a mistake. And I think humans are flawed, and we all make mistakes, Tulsi. I think we can all look at ourselves in the mirror and admit that once in our life we made a mistake. I'm having to admit this in national television for the whole country to see, and I have the courage to do so because I believe that in order to move past this and move forward and be an effective member of Congress, I have to face my mistakes, and I'm facing them.
Why don't you not be a member of Congress and resign? That would show some kind of semblance of honor. But we know you're not going to do that, Congressman-elect Santos.
The reality is that I remain committed to doing everything I set forward in my campaign. I'm not a fraud. I'm not a fake. I didn't.
Yes, you are. You lied about everything. You made Donald Trump look like he's like the most honest, ethical person. The man who lies more than anybody else. Him and Bill Clinton, Slick Willie. You make them look like truth tellers.
Didn't materialize from thin air. I worked damn hard to get where I got my entire life. Life wasn't easy. It didn't start off easy. As I've said it many, many times, I come from abject poverty. I made some mistakes. And I don't.
Oh, that's what you call lies? Mistakes?
And now I want to put this past me so I can deliver for the American people.
The thing is, Congressman-elect, integrity means, yes, carrying yourself with honor, but it means telling the truth, being a person of integrity. And if I were one of those in New York's 3rd District right now that the election is over, and I'm finding out all of these lies that you've told, not just one little lie or one little embellishment, these are blatant lies. My question is, do you have no shame?
Hey, Tulsi, now, aren't you being a little harsh on him? He's actually getting good practice for being just another member of Congress. And they're all a bunch of filthy liars. So, he just got caught earlier than everybody else.
Do you have no shame in the people who are now you're asking to trust you to go and be their voice for them, their families, and their kids in Washington?
Tulsi, I can say the same thing about the Democrats and the party. Look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden's been lying to the American people for 40 years. He's the president of the United States.
Yeah. Well, and you would be correct to criticize her, Tulsi Gabbard, on that because she made a mistake in 2020 and backed Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders because she has a beef with Bernie Sanders for whatever reason. And not that I want to defend Bernie Sanders too much now, but if I may revisit that time period, there was a little bit of a beef right there going on with the whole thing with Bernie Sanders and everything. And I thought it was pretty damn dumb to go and back Joe Biden, because she ought to know damn well that Kamala was going to be the running mate. Because I knew damn well that Kamala Harris was going to be Joe Biden's running mate. I knew that was the ticket that was going to happen. Then again, in 2019, 2020, I was wanting a Bernie Sanders Tulsi Gabbard ticket. Yes, for those out there that didn't know this, I was kind of a Tulsi Gabbard simp at one time when she was more left-leaning. Okay.
Democrats resoundingly support him. Do they have no shame? I've made this very clear.
This is not about the Democratic Party, though. This is about your relationship, frankly, with the people who've entrusted you to go and fight for them. And I think one of the questions that really probably hits home to a lot of people is are you Jewish? We've got a letter that your campaign sent out earlier this year, which reads as follows. As a proud American Jew, I've been to Israel numerous times for educational, business, and leisurely trips. You said there in that letter that you are, quote, a proud American Jew. How do you explain that?
My heritage is Jewish. I've always identified as Jewish. I was raised a practicing Catholic. I think I've gone through this. Even not being raised a practicing Jew, I've always joked with friends and circles, even in the campaign, I say, guys, I'm Jewish. Remember, I was raised Catholic. So look,
it's possible you're Hispanic. It's possible you come from a Sephardic Jewish background. That's very possible. But if you're Roman Catholic, then you're not Jewish. You may have some Jewish ethnicity in the background. I personally doubt it, but it's possible. It doesn't matter one way or the other, because I'm not into identity politics. But you're not Jewish, Santos. You're not. You're Hispanic Roman Catholic. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being Hispanic. There's nothing wrong with being Roman Catholic. But you lied about what you say you are. And that is shameful.
I understand everybody wants to nitpick at me. I'm going to reassure this once and for all. I'm not a facade. I'm not a persona. I have an extensive career that I work really hard to achieve. And I'm going to deliver from my experience because I remain committed in delivering results for the American people. I can't.
Yeah, he's committed to bullshitting. And there's some bullshitting going on right there.
Campaign on inflation. I campaign on crime. I campaign on education. I campaign on delivering results for the American people.
He campaigned on being a liar.
That's what the people of the 3rd Congressional District heard me on and on as I campaign. Now it's going to be incumbent upon me to deliver on those results. And I look forward.
Yeah, you can deliver good results by stepping down. Resign.
To serve
You're exactly right.
Serving my district. I look forward to serving my people in my district to make sure that they see that this is what
looking for. The results that people are looking for are called into question when you tell blatant lies, not embellishments. And this is I think one of the biggest concerns, Congressman-elect, is that you don't really seem to be taking this seriously. You've apologized. You said you've made mistakes, but you've outright lied. A lie is not an embellishment on a resume. You said you worked at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, but they've said, we've got no record of this guy working for us. You said you've gone to and graduated from these universities, but they've said, well, we've got no record of that. These are blatant lies, and it calls into question how your constituents and the American people can believe anything that you may say when you are standing on the floor of the House of Representatives, supposedly fighting for them. That's the real issue here.
Well, even if he didn't embellish his past and his resume and his heritage, we shall all know that he's sure as hell not going to fight for the American people. Honestly, if Democrats are not fighting for the American people in Congress, what the hell people think the Republicans are going to do? They're going to do even less. Both parties are the problem.
Well, look, I agree with what you're saying, and as I stated, and I continue, we can debate my resume and how I worked with firms such as Goldman.
Is it debatable, or is it just false?
No, it's very debatable. No, it's not false at all. It's debatable. I can sit down and explain to you what you can do in private equity, in capital intro, via servicing limited partners and general partners, and we can have this discussion that's going to go way above the American people's head. But that's not what I campaigned on. I campaigned on.
Yeah, you're changing the subject. That's what you're trying to do. You're changing the subject. And I'm kind of angry with Tulsi at times. I get a little irritated with her for the path she took after this election. But you know what? This time she's not wrong. This time she's going after you, going after a politician that really deserves going after. And, you know, for about 5 minutes, I can say I'm proud of her at this point. You go and tear them apart. Figuratively speaking. Just give them hell.
On delivering results for the American people by lowering inflation. I can sit down, and if you want to have that discussion, I'd be glad to, Tulsi, to explain that to you and make sure that we settle the score.
This is not about settling scores, and I think you just kind of highlighted, I think, my concern, the concern that people at home have. You're saying that this discussion will go way above the heads of the American people, basically insulting their intelligence. So not only are you now backtracking on these lies that you've told, but you're saying that you can't explain it in a way that your constituents would actually be able to understand.
I can explain it in a way. If you give me the time, I can easily explain it for you. As in, when investors are looking for capital, and I'm sitting there doing due diligence on the appetite and what they're looking for, right? And we work alongside GPs and LPs to help them place this capital. This is what I was doing, and that's when I worked extensively with these firms and many other firms at my time as I was vice president of Linkbridge Investors. So this is.
Oh my gosh, such crap is coming out of his mouth. As I said, this reminds me of the time when Tulsi Gabbard basically destroyed Kamala Harris's campaign, Tim Ryan's campaign. And this is why the Democratic Party and the media, they trying to keep her out of the debates, because the next target was going to be Pete Buttigieg. But of course, I'm not going to go and divulge too much into what started happening in March of 2020 as COVID hit and everything, because that might be considered conspiracy theory. And I know how the algorithms go and everything. So y'all know my position on from that particular time period.
This isn't a made-up narrative, but I feel like nobody really wants to sit down and talk about it. Everybody just wants to push me and call me a liar. Look, I embellished my resume.
Congressman-elect Santos, we've given you a lot of time. I think the time that is owed is the people of New York's 3rd. It's hard to imagine how they could possibly trust your explanations when you're not really even willing to admit the depth of your deception to them. Thank you so much for being here and joining us.
Subscribe to the Fox News.
Okay. All right. Okay. So she was substituting for Tucker Carlson that night, and I have to admit that's the Tulsi I learned to respect and love years ago, and I would like to see more of this Tulsi, not the one that's campaigning for various Republicans I saw this past fall. That was a little cringe, and I mean, and part of me just it broke my heart to see her doing that. It did, and I admit that there's a part of me that still likes her in a lot of ways. But what made my week even better than seeing her do this to George Santos was the reaction of somebody that I totally despise, because I don't care how much a shit lib is a shit lib. The ones who attacked Tulsi Gabbard and those who attacked Tulsi Gabbard in 2019, 2020 in the Democratic Party, those who attacked Tulsi Gabbard then attacked Tulsi Gabbard from their right. I'm talking about the shit libs that attacked her. They attacked her from their right. They didn't attack her from their left. They attacked her from their right. And unfortunately, they pushed her into the arms of a lot of conservatives in doing so. It was the most counterproductive thing you can imagine being done. And it made me angry because I wanted her to be Bernie Sanders' running mate. So, but anyway, this is, again, what you see here on the screen. This is from that video. But Marjorie Taylor Greene has something to say about this. And anybody who knows me know my position on Marjorie Taylor Greene. And Marjorie Taylor Greene said on her tweet, and as you can see, sometimes it's a little blurry on my side when you watch it on StreamYards, but usually when I look back over it, it's a little bit clearer. But I'll read it anyway. This is from Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she said, Tulsi Gabbard, who said she's a former Democrat, gave Representative-elect George Santos zero grace while George is admitting and apologizing for lying about his resume, just like her former colleagues are giving George zero grace and even demanding that he resign. Let's see. Let's see. It goes on further. Tulsi said that George's action in the House are what is most important, but George has not even had a chance to take action for his district and the House floor because he isn't even sworn yet. Tulsi also said that he can't his district believe in anything he says. When he says he's standing on the House floor fighting for them. I too believe in actions and words are extremely important, but I don't think a former Democrat whose actions on the House floor as recent as 2020 that gave her an A rating from Planned Parenthood and an L from the NRA and introduced climate change agenda signature piece of legislation called the OFF Act to sign to end all fossil fuels, the same that AOC's Green New Deal should lecture any newly elected Republican member of Congress on how he should vote to represent his Republican district. I do appreciate that Tulsi's word says that sounds conservative now, that even though she can't take actions to back them up, I'm glad that she, like George, realized that she made mistakes and was wrong, and every time she voted for the killing of the unborn, taking away gun rights, and legislated a bill to kill America's energy independence and fossil fuel industry. I hope that Tulsi's sincere, just like I hope George is sincere. I think Republicans should give George Santos a chance to see how he legislates and votes, not to treat him the same as the left is. Oh, there's a whole lot I could say about Karen Greene, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And first of all, she attacks Tulsi Gabbard on past positions where Tulsi Gabbard was incredibly very, very awesome, taking a position that was to the left of most Democrats at the time. And so she attacks her for her past positions. And I do even appreciate the fact that the OFF Act that she mentioned, and Nico House actually mentioned this one time, that the OFF Act was actually more detailed, and it was actually a further left-wing plan to AOC's Green New Deal, believe it or not. So in those regard, even though it did not become legislation, I'm glad that Tulsi did bring out some bold progressive legislation at the time. But I hated that there was some conservative rhetoric that came along later on. And I've talked about that before. But the unborn statement and taking away gun rights, whatever, whatever. I just wish that Marjorie Taylor Greene's parents were pro-choice, if you know what I mean. And the thing about it is, the fossil fuel industries or whatever, we need to weed off of that, just we do. And as far as the as far as the legislative votes and everything, here's the thing. He broke a trust with the people. He lied under pretenses. He should step down as a member. He's not even sworn in. He should not even be a member of Congress. He should step down. But Marjorie Taylor Greene don't realize that. Well, she realizes that. She realizes that she wants a powerful position in the U.S. House of Representatives. She wants those committees assignments. She's power hungry. So what does she do? She nags at Kevin McCarthy, and Kevin McCarthy is too right wing for me, too right wing for my enlightened audience. But Kevin McCarthy is a rhino to a lot of the Republican right in Congress. And the fact that he's a rhino and all of this sort of thing, well, all I got to say is that this shows you where the Overton window is in the United States right now. But suffice to say that, there's a divide in the Republican Party right there. You've seen the divide, Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert on one side, and they're not too particularly thrilled and jazzed about Kevin McCarthy. And what Marjorie Taylor Greene's trying to do is she's trying to wheel in support for a man who is apparently gay. George Santos, not judging him for that, but apparently he was married and he left his wife because he's gay, and that's cool. But you got Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's one of the most anti-LGBTQ people around, courting somebody who is gay because she's power hungry and she wants to have a powerful position in Congress. And honestly, I have a feeling that my blood pressure is going to go through the roof in the next 2 years, hearing her the way that it did when I used to have to hear Michelle Bachmann back in the day. I almost owe Michelle Bachmann an apology for how much I despised her. I still despise Michelle Bachmann and people like a Sarah Palin type and everything, but they're rational compared to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Just gracious alive. I know that Farron Cousins is going to have a field day talking about her on Ring of Fire and on the show Fair and Balance. But thing about it is that's what we're going to be stuck with for the next 2 years, or more. until she's defeated, until people in Georgia realize that she's bloody awful. And all that. So anyway, just wanted to go and get that out of my system there. And so we have here Hot Retarded Chicks. How are you doing today? Hi. I'm doing well. I felt like I just needed to go and stream tonight. This is my second stream. And Artie says, hey Willie, hey, how are you? How are you, my friend? So so I just wanted to have that as a discussion here, and just wanted to share that because I'm just like, you got somebody that I totally despise like Marjorie Taylor Greene versus Tulsi Gabbard, which I'm kind of I'm sort of in conflict about a lot of times. I guess what I'm trying to say is I still personally like her, but I've been let down by some changes of heart on some positions and everything. And same thing with AOC. I've been let down by AOC too. And but I wish that both not Marjorie Taylor Greene. I wish that AOC and Tulsi Gabbard would listen to Kashama Sawant of Seattle, Washington. That's a lady they both need to listen to. Follow her example. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's a big old joke, a bad joke. So anyway, if you all like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We will have a conversation. Feel free to share the content I have on this channel for whatever nefarious purposes or positive purposes you may have. And I'll let you know that as a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we are the muckrakers of our time. And remember, keep in mind to always reject corporate media because they have nothing to offer us. To always get a second opinion, a 20-second opinion, if you will. And to follow my channels, hit the subscribe button and the notification tab on here on YouTube, and same thing on Twitch. To follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter and on Facebook as well. And remember to again, always reject corporate media is the key. So we'll do that. And until next time, I will conclude by saying to you all, Happy New Year once again. And I will talk to you all again in the near future. Bye-bye.